Hello, my dear students. In the last class, we have already discussed about green chemistry. We know green chemistry is the design of chemical products and processes that reduce or eliminate the use or generation of hazardous substances. Green chemistry applies across the life cycle of a chemical product, including its design, manufacture, use, and ultimate disposal. Green chemistry reduces pollution at its source by minimizing or eliminating the hazards of chemical feedstocks, reagents, solvents, and products. Green chemistry is based on 12 principles. These principles demonstrate the breadth of the concept of green chemistry. We have already discussed three principles of green chemistry in the last class. They are waste prevention rather than remediation. Then second one is percent atom economy, and third one is the design less hazardous chemical synthesis. Today we will discuss about three other principles of green chemistry. These are design safer chemicals and products, use safer solvents and reaction conditions, and increase energy efficiency. The fourth principle of green chemistry is designing safer products. One of the main objectives of green chemistry is to design the production of non-toxic chemicals such that their desired function is not affected. This is particularly applicable in drug design. As part of drug development, the safety of a drug has to be evaluated carefully before it can be approved. Some species of experimental animals have such unique mechanisms of resisting toxicity of a chemical that extrapolation of such toxicity assessments to the human situation is found to be deceptive. To make an accurate interpretation and a reasonable prediction of potential toxicity in humans, it is important to elucidate the underlying mechanisms responsible for the species differences in the metabolism and pharmacokinetics of a chemical. For example, thalidomide, thought to be a safe drug for reducing the effects of nausea and vomiting during pregnancy, was widely administered to pregnant women in Europe in 1961. But it was found that children born to several of these women suffered from birth defects. The drug was subsequently banned. Nowadays, biochemists have methods to investigate toxicity related to the presence of specific functional groups. They also have methods to design drugs in such a way that they do reach the target tissues but do not cause toxic effects to other tissues on their way through to the target. They now have methods to bring about molecular modifications in a toxic drug so that it becomes non-toxic but functions in the intended manner. The fifth principle of green chemistry is the use of safer auxiliaries. The use of auxiliary substances, for example solvents, separation agents, etc., should be avoided wherever possible, and if needed, the safety of their use should be ascertained. For example, a key point in a synthesis is still the choice of solvent, as this is the main component of a reaction system by volume. Chlorinated solvents should be avoided as many of these solvents are toxic and volatile. Solvents like chlorofluorocarbon, although relatively non-toxic to organisms, are implicated in the destruction of the stratospheric ozone layer. Water is the best choice of a green solvent because it is the cheapest, safest, and most non-toxic solvent in the world. For example, furan undergoes Diels-Alder reaction with maleic anhydride in aqueous medium. Here, firstly, maleic anhydride converted into maleic acid, then maleic acid react with the furan and to give the adduct. But for reactions that do not run in aqueous media, alternative green solvents of choice include ionic liquids which are non-volatile and can provide non-aqueous reaction media of varying polarity. Reactions carried out in supercritical carbon dioxide media can also be considered as a green choice. Chemical reactions that run under conditions without any solvent are of the highest green priority. The Tishchenko reaction involving the condensation of 2-furan-2-aldehyde molecule in the presence of calcium oxide or strontium oxide or barium oxide is a typical example for a chemical reaction that runs under conditions without any solvent. The sixth principle of green chemistry is the design for energy efficiency. We know at the current rate of depletion of the fossil fuels used for producing energy, the source would be exhausted within a few decades. So, the wastage of energy in chemical synthesis produces environmental and economic impacts. It is therefore essential to design synthesis requiring minimum amount of energy supply. For this, chemical processes should be designed such that they can be conducted at room temperature and pressure if possible. Microwave assisted reactions are preferred over reactions using conventional heating methods because as energy is supplied directly to the reactants and not through the walls of a vessel, they are more energy efficient and occur in shorter time periods. For example, esterification is a reaction largely studied under microwave irradiation with beneficial results. The rate of esterification of benzoic acid was found to be increased under microwaves. Another kind of preferred energy efficient reactions are ultrasound assisted reactions. For example, the Diels-Alder cycloaddition of orthoquinone with dienes, which normally requires a high pressure and be conducted at atmospheric pressure and room temperature under ultrasonic irradiation. Today we have discussed about three principles of green chemistry. These are design safer chemicals and products, that is design chemical products that are fully effective yet have little or no toxicity. The fifth principle, use safer solvents and reaction conditions, that is avoid using solvents, suppression agents or other auxiliary chemicals. If you must use these chemicals, use safer ones. And the sixth principle is that increase energy efficiency, that is run chemical reactions at room temperature and pressure whenever possible. In the next class, we will discuss about other principles of green chemistry. Thank you.